goodness, welcome to my channel. This is my intro video. My name's Miranda. I am an intuitive healer, a Reiki master, and a mental health therapist. After more than 10 years working as a clinical mental health counselor therapist, I have now opened my own business. This is a healing business that really brings together integration of my traditional clinical practice experience with my spiritual gifts and intuition. My spiritual awakening happened about 7 years ago, and it began with seeing a lot of synchronicity and specifically angel numbers, more specifically 444. So I was seeing this on license plates, billboards, receipts so frequently, bombarded with it, that I knew it wasn't coincidence. I didn't know exactly what it was or where it was leading, but it had my attention and I was curious for sure. And a couple months after I started getting that 444 coming into my awareness and in my daily life, I had an annual OBGYN appointment. The results of that were of concern. My doctor had sat down with me and said, basically, Miranda, I've been doing this a really long time. I know just by the looks of certain things what I would consider the classification, and these cells are very likely to be cancerous, basically. Um, so this is prior to me becoming a mother, and this is what's going through my head is, oh my God, I might not be able to have children. What if I'm not able to be a mother? And that's something that I've always known I wanted in my life. At the time, I was working primarily in my clinical practice with children with trauma histories. So I'm having this thought go, oh my goodness, is this going to be a situation where I've poured my time and effort into working with children and then I'm not able to have my own? So, needless to say, I was in tears. He handed me some tissues. He was the sweetest man, very to the point, direct, but also humane and gentle. So I was waiting on those results, and about 4 days later, I get a phone call on a Friday afternoon at 4:44 exactly, and I answer, and it's the doctor himself, not a secretary, not a receptionist. He says, Miranda, I wanted to personally call you to let you know your results came back clear. And ooh, I'm getting the chills as I'm just saying that back to you. Um, Divine intervention, angelic support for sure. So after I got those clear results, about 6 to 9 months later, I was pregnant with my first child. And this was an amazing alchemy that opened this portal up for my spiritual awakening to just pour through even more. And in fact, there were a couple people in my family who had separately, without me realizing, gone to sit for readings for themselves with a psychic medium and come back to me later to say, hey, you came up in my reading unexpectedly. They said there's somebody in my family who is pregnant with a baby girl, and that child is going to be very intuitive and is gifted psychically. So credit to my daughter for her role in this divine plan and this alchemy that has just really continues to unfold every day at this point. So during that pregnancy, more and more of those signs were coming through, and I ended up getting a hold of a book that I love and highly recommend called Signs by Laura Lynn Jackson. Each chapter of that would be specific to certain signs. For example, cardinals in this chapter, hummingbirds in this chapter, butterflies in this chapter. And as I would read chapter one, the next couple of days, cardinals everywhere. And then I'd read chapter two, let's call that one about hummingbirds. The next couple of days, hummingbirds everywhere. So Spirit really used that book to thread this golden thread to make sure I knew what was happening was not coincidence, and it became very clear to me. So moving forward, my daughter's born, busyness, chaos of the infancy stage. Um, and then I just continued to dedicate time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it was. Every night I would go and sit in my walk in closet, turn the light off, sit down on the floor and do my own private meditation. I end up dropping into the stillness, which is kind of that goal that you're looking for to clear the mind chatter, the clutter when you're in that meditative state. Use that stillness to be able to turn inward and find the expansion that happens from the inside in that kind of way. So, mind is clear, I'm in the zone, and then I would start to get this delivery or these downloads of messages, which I'll get into later on to share a little bit more of detail on what that looked like, how it felt, how that piece of the receiving the messages unfolded. There's many different beautiful stories that I want to share with you about that in episodes to come. But for now, I'll just say that meditation practice, I started to receive, I started to recognize that I was directly receiving and communicating with spirit, and was loving it. Didn't know always what I was getting. I would journal and jot down some of the things that seemed random. Later on, they would start to coalesce into meaning and giving me a greater understanding of what it is that, what the interpretation of those messages was, I'll say. So now that I'm at a point that I was realizing that I definitely was being communicated with, I knew how to draw it in even more instead of just waiting to see the winks from the universe and those synchronicities through my meditative practice. I then, fast forward, ended up signing up for a Reiki Masters program. That was a wonderful experience. It took a lot of encouragement from my spirit team to push me forward to invest that time and money, and to take that risk, feeling vulnerable and not fully knowing or believing that I was gifted to the point with the spiritual connection to be able to bring anything through to other people with it. Little had I known I had been doing that on on the lowdown for the full 10 years of my um, clinical practice, anyhow, just not realizing what it was. Those little moments where there are just times after the session where you go, how did I say that? That sounded more brilliant than what I could have planned to say, and it just flowed out. And there you're doing that channeling, right, to help support someone's healing. So I do this Reiki training. I now am a Reiki master. And a couple months after that, well, one, I did about 16 to 20 volunteer sessions practicing. And this is where I started doing energy healing, started more intentionally, consciously tapping into that connection with spirit for the benefit of other people as a channel, an intuitive healer, an energy healer. And boom, mind blown. The before and after of bringing a level of healing to people that is not comparable. So hopefully you're able to see here, this is leading to me opening up my own private practice where I offer this intuitive healing, this integration of the technical skills and training modalities, etc., from my clinical practice background with the intuition, with the higher guidance of the divine, your loved ones, spirit team, angels, God, universe, source, whatever you consider that to be. I tell people at this point, although I'd like to say I have a brilliant mind, it is incomparable to what comes through channeled from the higher realms. Why would you want me from my own human mind and ego centered place to plan out a treatment plan for you when that can be channeled? And the magic and healing that comes through is really indescribable. So if you're interested and you want to check it out further, of course, you can follow the videos to come on this channel. I also have an Instagram. My link to my website is below, and I do offer one-on-one sessions. All right. Thank you so much for listening and joining and following me here. I'm excited to continue this journey and bring forward more stories. I'm planning to share personal stories of more of these moments of just magic and synchronicity and spirit communication with me personally, as well as some kind of golden nuggets that have come through from the collective and from my practice experience that continues to unfold. So I hope you like this video. Looking forward to making some more for y'all and connecting. Thank you.